we're going to set this to easy. We are going to set it to easy because the only difference between all the difficulties is how hard it is, or how much damage they all take. Give me 1 second. Can't really see my commentator very well. Give me a second. Can you slide in there? You may have to sit behind me. Alright. So, we're going to go here in just a couple seconds. I'll kind of explain the run as we go. My commentator's hiding behind me, but you should be able to hear him, so here we go.
So this is the first run. It is T-Rex. Everything does 1 damage to every single T-Rex boss. And we're gonna jump all over these cavemen.
Alright, so we're going to hesitate for about half a second right here, because if you don't, that caveman will hit you. You got to do a little turn back to get on top of that pterodactyl. It doesn't look like you do much there, but you actually do have to turn back. This is my favorite trick in the game. Ride the caveman to the end. It actually despawns a couple of enemies. It makes that level just a little faster.
So we're gonna stand on the edge here. We got the early hit, and at the last HP bar, we were gonna go at the bottom.
Okay, so after I hit him right now, we're gonna jump down. Because what that does is keeps him from coming across the screen. You want to kill him on the left, because if you kill him on the right side of the screen, he takes longer to die and just wastes time.
And we also need to stand almost perfectly, so we don't have to move forward.
Yeah. So after the boss dies, you want to stand like in a frame perfect spot to save just a little bit. He didn't jump. So normally if you jump, that caveman jump, that is great. So that is the weapon we are looking for in this run. That is the best weapon in the game. It does 3 points of damage per hit. You can throw 2 of them at a time. Fire also does 3 points of damage, but if you miss, you have to wait for it to despawn before you can throw it again.
So on this boss, we're just gonna get behind them and start spamming wheels.
Yeah, so with wheel, this fight, there's no RNG. Most boss fights in this game have some RNG. This is one of the ones that does not. You just get behind him, chuck wheels, he dies. So each boss health bar is 4 hit points of damage. Each wheel hit does 3. So that's why you want the wheel. Worst case, fire, but...
So upcoming is the green pterodactyl.
So this level is pretty easy. You're actually going to take an intentional hit from that bee. If you try to dodge it, it's actually slower, so you just take the hit.
So we're going to hit it on mostly every boss, we're going to hit it early. And we really want to have
Oh, that's bad. Alright, so
1.
I got a bad pattern here. Unfortunate. That was my fault. I kind of goofed. I tried to get an extra hit on the first cycle and ended up missing it. Falfon. That's a wheel quick fight. Yes, I love wheel puns when I'm playing this game. Those are my favorite. So, real quick, there are 2 places you can get the wheel.
It's right here.
Where I got it, and that's it right there. If you don't get it there, this next boss is absolutely awful without the wheel.
And the boss that we're coming up to is all about RNG. We really want to place it, kind of, where it's going to jump out of the water. But if you accidentally hit the bone club, it'll go straight back into the water.
So, this boss, I said that each health bar is 4 HP. This boss is actually 2 HP per health bar. However, I'll explain it better when we get there. It's a little easier to explain once you see the fight. It is very RNG dependent on when the boss decides to jump out of the water. We might take a death here. Taking a death's not a big deal, especially in this level because it's an auto-scroller.
So coming up here is going to be a bonus egg. We don't want to hit it.
Yes, this egg right here. If you break this, you get taken to a bonus stage, which if you're doing a casual run is great, because there are 1-ups waiting for you. In a speedrun, it's definitely a run killer. I've definitely not hit that before in lost runs. I would never do that. So, world record for this game is 20 minutes and 23 seconds.
0.99.
0.99. Like I said, very RNG dependent, especially like this fight. We're trying to time the wheels so that it hits them when they come out. These 4, those 2 and then these 2, always spawn in the same place. You can time them. I'm being careful there because I thought I was going to hit him with the club. They're kind of being jerks right now. Oh, the lucky wheel. See, that one jumped out at the same time as the other one. And it actually got hit by my club and not the wheel. So then you have to go down and wait for another RNG cycle.
Coming up is an eel.
Yeah, so this next level is a vertical auto-scroller. It's very short, though. You'll get spammed with rocks. If you just kind of sit right here and just chuck your wheels around, you can break most of them. I don't think getting hit by them costs time, but it's just health loss that you don't want to lose.
So, right here, we want to line the head right there so the pterodactyl can disappear, and so we can get faster time dropping now.
Yeah, so you want to line the pterodactyl's head up so that he actually despawns. If you let him go all the way down, it's just more time.
So,
this is the good pattern.
Yes, so we want to sink down and make sure you hit it as soon as you can.
Yeah.
So it can go down.
That last hit, you want to hit him as he's at the bottom, because he moves down faster on his own than he does when he's dying. There is another pattern where he comes across the screen. It costs about 2 seconds. It's not a super huge time loss, but... So this is the ice cave level. This boss can be a jerk when he wants to be.
Iframes are a really big deal, but...
Because he can iframe on you and go to where he can't be hit for like 20 seconds if he feels like it. So... I should not have high jumped there. So you want to low jump right there to get across the rocks. Nice recovery though.
So we're gonna, depending on what, we might get this one up.
Nope, no one up there. That's fine. We shouldn't need it. It can spawn there, but it all depends on how many cavemen you have on the screen. All right, so we're gonna roll through him, get behind, and just go down loose. If he does iframe, it's only on the 4th and 5th health bar left.
Like this.
So we're down to 5. Alright, we're fine.
Not
Alright,
iframing yet.
we're actually gonna take a death right here. It's faster to take the death here than it is in the next level.
Because the next level is actually an orange pterodactyl on a cliff.
Yes, so the next level is a very easy vertical level.
Unless you get swoops.
Somebody said great help from the co-commentator. Just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, he actually has the 2nd place speedrun on the co-op leaderboard with me. Ooh, almost missed. So he knows a little bit about this game. He's played it with me before. Right there. So you want to stand on a certain spot, because if you hit him in the back or the head, the wheel will do full damage. Otherwise... Oh, man. Okay, bad RNG here. So, he can do this up to 3 times. Okay, only one, that's not bad. He can do it up to 3. Each time is an extra 5-second time loss. Okay, there's a lot of RNG in this game.
Okay, did she just like come from clouds and just appear on the cliff?
That is a good question from my help here. Where did that cave lady come from? Because there is nothing over there. So apparently she is mystical. And if she can walk on clouds, how come she couldn't escape? I think that's the real question here. So this level, pretty much the same every time, as long as you do the same things. The platforming and patterns of the enemies is kind of determined by what you do. So if you do the same thing, they do the same thing. We're gonna not go for that. Hello from Discord. Hello, Master of Clarity. How's it going? So, we mentioned earlier that T-Rexes only take 1 point of damage from everything.
And this one has a speed cycle to it.
There is one exception. So I'm gonna try to hit him during his iframe. We didn't get it there. So if you get it, the next wheel will damage him. We got that one.
There's... You can get it like 9 times, because that's how much health bars it has, and it is very difficult to get the speed cycle sometimes.
Yeah, we're having some bad luck here. There we go.
Starting to pick it up.
Yeah, so you can tell if you get it or not by whether he immediately goes into his damage animation. I have gotten all 9 of those. It is, I believe, 1 or 2 frames that you have to get the wheels in there. So you just jump and spam them.
So, next boss is Spaceman. We do not want bottom right, mostly. But on the end, we do.
So he's talking about the patterns. This next boss is probably the second most RNG fight in the game. He has 4 different patterns he can do. And only one of them really saves any time. That was weird. So a caveman didn't spawn there, and that one hit me, so I don't know what was going on there. There's plenty of health we can get up here. I'm not too worried about taking the damage.
So there's 4 patterns on Spaceman. Top left, top right, and bottom left.
We're actually going to grab the health here, because I'm going to take a damage boost at the beginning of the next level. So one grab. So you cannot hit him in this first phase. You just gotta let him do his thing.
He's gonna jump up here and land in the middle.
So he can do one of 4 things, and I can let you know as soon as he starts moving. At his bottom right.
Yeah.
That's the worst pattern. That
The
is
only one
slowest.
on the end.
So what this pattern does, and why it's so slow, is he just takes forever to get off the screen.
Yeah.
So now we wait. Hopefully we don't get that pattern every time. Wow. that sucks a little bit. So while we wait for this guy to be slow, I will talk about the different weapons. So like I said, wheel and fire both do the most. Fighting the fish with fire, because you can only have one on the screen at a time, that's top left, that's the best. You can only have one fire on the screen at a time. So if you don't hit the fish, and that fire lands on the ground, it takes forever to go away. No, fire and wheel do the same amount.
That's bottom left.
That is bottom left. In this game, they both do 3 health points of damage. So, and wheels, like I could hit him with fire and it would do the same. At least on the Super Nintendo version.
Top left.
I don't know how the damage items work in the other versions. I mean, knowing the patterns doesn't matter. That's the best one for the end.
Yes.
I just like to call the patterns as he goes, in case somebody's like, hey, what's he gonna do?
So at the end, we mostly want bottom left and bottom right, because it drops down faster.
That was actually a pretty decent one. So we're gonna take a damage boost.
We're gonna roll through
that guy. And he's gonna carry us to this nice little 1-up right here. So we're gonna roll right here. Okay. You roll right there because that lightning can spawn on top of you and damage you and kill you during the jump. So if you roll, it won't damage you.
And we're just gonna start jumping these pterodactyls, mostly
There
through
we
this
go.
part and the other part.
This part is very scary when you're first learning the game, and even now.
So on this boss, if you can disattach his head.
I goofed and threw my wheels too early. I thought I got lucky. So occasionally you can make him stay unbroken until the 3rd health bar, which actually saves time.
You just took out 2 health bars and he didn't
There we go.
drop his head. whatever it's called.
You see I'm taking damage there, but I'm doing it because it makes him go off the screen slightly faster. If you wait for him to just come off the screen by himself, it just takes a little longer.
There we go.
That was a solid fight. Other than that weird start.
Next boss is the last T-Rex, which is red. And we're using bone on that boss since and T-Rexes, as earlier, it only does 1 damage to every T-Rex.
So the reason we use bone is because it'll still do the same damage as wheel.
But it goes faster.
And it's faster and you can have it on the screen. So I duck right before that caveman there to make sure that food spawns. It will not spawn if you don't kill him while ducked. I don't know why. It's just what the game does. Nice. I got the good pattern here, and then I can kill him.
Oof.
Hello. I'll spawn. There we go. These pterodactyls can be very tricky. They like to despawn sometimes. So if we're gonna die on this boss, you want to do it during his iframes, because you can't damage him anyway, and you can basically waste the death animation. So we might actually take an intentional death on this fight.
And there's no 5 cycles.
Now you can't cheese this boss. You can only do 1 damage per hit no matter what. So you just chuck bones and go to town. Alright, that's fine. That's actually fine because he went off the screen, so that works out in my favor. I wanted the intentional death, but I didn't want it there.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, the platforming in this level is scary, especially those narrow platforms. I still die there quite often, not gonna lie.
The bones are better here because you can throw it faster, and that's really it.
Bones are better here because every weapon does 1 health point of damage, and they are faster, and you can throw more of them at a time. So you can spam them a lot better than any other weapon.
Yeah, and bones do like 1 damage anyway.
So we're actually on a solid pace here.
So here we are inside the dino.
Yeah, inside the dino. This is the last level of the game. That caveman did some weird rolls. You can roll through there, no problem. This part is just... They're being jerks right now.
So we're gonna kill these cavemen like always, probably, and get their food.
Yeah, so I'm going to do some extra killing here just for safety, get a little bit of health.
You stomped on them.
That's fine. I'm not too worried about it here. So, he's going to summon these little angry teeth pods.
Corals, people, whatever.
This part is the only straight non-RNG fight besides plant boss in the game. If you do the same thing every time, they will respond the same way.
So after you fight 6 of these guys, 8, Red Devil will come up and hopefully be good to us. Because we mostly want to stay on the ground so we don't have to high jump and always throw our wheels at it.
I missed. That's fine. Nothing major here. It's still the same fight. Alright, Red Devil. He can do 4 things. He can stay floating around the top of the screen. He can come right here by the heart. He can go to the middle and try to make a clone. Or he can go off the screen, which is the slowest.
You're lucky that wheel got framed in him.
Alright, so what you want to do is spam the wheels upwards, catch the clone. If you catch it before it spawns, it doesn't even do anything, it just goes away. Otherwise, it'll turn into a caveman clone, roll around, and be a jerk. This is the best here, so just get underneath them, chuck your wheels, have a good time.
So the Blue Devil is coming up, and the Blue Devil, the worst part of the Blue Devil is when he throws rings and it just goes in full screen.
This pattern's actually kind of fast, so. Alright, not a bad level, not a bad fight overall. So this is the heaviest RNG fight in the entire game. He can do one of 6 things. He can teleport bottom, middle, top, middle, and then each side of the screen, top and bottom.
And then rings.
And then you can do one of 3 things after that. And one of them is a big time loss, but it's also the most common. So I'm going to try to anticipate here. I did not, that's fine.
3 hits right there.
Nice, we got a 3-hit cycle, which is great. Alright. You can lock him into his damage animation, that's fine.
Okay, so those rings are good.
If you can lock him into his damage animation, you can squeeze in more hits, so that's bad. Just because he went across the screen on me. Okay, this is the slowest cycle.
Yeah. What I was talking about.
It's an automatic like 8 seconds of just not being able to do anything. But it's also the most common thing for him to do. Don't be a jerk, don't go over there. That was a really good time. Yeah, that's rough. Like I said, most common thing for him to do.
He's being rude. So we mostly want him to stay on the bottom layer because we don't want to go to the top right to throw.
See, I managed to lock him into his damage cycle like an extra time there. That's what you want to see.
You might take an intentional death here.
One more hit should do it. One more. Nice. That is time. A 21:13 is a very solid run. There's nothing wrong with that kind of time. I believe there's only like 3 people on the leaderboard that have under 21 minutes. So that's not bad. I'll take a 21:13, especially with the kind of crappy RNG and the kind of rough fast damage cycles on Grey Rex. This is one of my favorite games of all time. That's why I love speedrunning this game. I've been speedrunning it for about, I don't know, over a year now. So, yeah. For a marathon, I got lucky. I got the wheel. If you get fire and can't get wheel until later, you can... It honestly adds about a minute to the run, so... That is it for me. Thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate it. I love showing this game off, and like I said, thanks again for letting me be on. Everybody have a good one.
Yep. Have a good one.